You can't fake deep connection, you can't force true attraction, and you can't rely on surface level tricks to make a woman feel drawn to you in a way that lasts. The truth is, lasting attraction isn't about how expensive your clothes are or how many compliments you give. It's about the way you make her feel. It's in the silent moments when she realizes she feels safe, inspired, and excited in your presence. It's in the subtle way you carry yourself, the respect you show, and the energy you bring into her life. If you want her to feel something deeper than fleeting interest, you have to embody qualities that speak to her emotions, not just her eyes. Because once you reach her heart, her mind will follow. And that is where real, lasting attraction begins. Emotional presence is not about simply being physically there. It is about truly being in the moment with someone, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It is when your focus is entirely on the person in front of you, when your energy is tuned to them, and your attention is not scattered between your phone, your thoughts, and the noise of the outside world. A woman can sense when you are with her in body, but somewhere else in your mind. She can also sense when you are fully present, absorbing her words, noticing her expressions, and attuning yourself to her emotions. That kind of presence makes her feel valued in a way that nothing else can, because it communicates without words that she matters enough for you to give her your undivided attention. True emotional presence requires intentional effort. It is about listening to understand rather than listening to reply. Many people think they are listening when they are actually just waiting for their turn to speak. But emotional presence demands that you place your ego aside, suspend your own narratives for a moment, and allow her world to take center stage. This means noticing not just what she is saying, but how she is saying it. The pauses, the hesitations, the subtle changes in her tone. It means picking up on the emotions beneath her words, because sometimes what she needs is not advice, not solutions, but someone who can understand the depth of what she is feeling without rushing to fix it. When you practice emotional presence, you make her feel safe enough to open up parts of herself she does not reveal to everyone. In a world where most people are too busy or too distracted, being with someone who makes her feel seen and heard is rare and powerful. She starts to associate you with comfort, with understanding, with a space where she can be completely herself without fear of judgment. And once she feels that, she will not just enjoy your company, she will crave it, because you become a refuge from the noise and chaos of life. Emotional presence is also about the little cues that show you are connected in the moment. It is the steady eye contact that tells her your attention is fixed on her. It is the slight lean in that communicates genuine interest. It is your ability to mirror her emotions, to soften your tone when she is sharing something vulnerable, or to match her energy when she is excited. These are silent signals that build trust and attraction far deeper than surface level charm ever could. They speak directly to her subconscious, telling her you are a man who is attuned, aware, and emotionally intelligent. Another layer to emotional presence is the ability to remain grounded when emotions run high. There will be moments when she is upset, frustrated, or hurt. In those moments, being present means resisting the urge to defend yourself immediately or to shut down the conversation. It means staying engaged even when the topic is uncomfortable, because your focus is not on winning the argument, but on understanding her perspective. This emotional steadiness shows her that you are not just there for the good moments, but for the messy, difficult ones too, and that deepens her trust in you. Presence is not limited to conversations. It exists in silence too. Sometimes emotional presence is sitting together without the need for constant words, allowing her to feel your calm and warmth beside her. It is being attuned enough to notice when she needs a reassuring touch, a hand on her back, or a quiet smile. It is reading her energy in a way that allows you to respond without her having to spell it out. This kind of attunement does not happen by accident. It happens when you make her emotional state a priority in your awareness. What makes emotional presence so magnetic is that it reflects strength and self-control. In a time where most people are slaves to distraction, a man who can slow down, shut out the noise, and give a woman his full attention stands out effortlessly. It is not about grand gestures or perfect words. It is about the depth of focus you bring into the moments you share with her. That depth communicates that you are not chasing validation, not trying to impress her with tricks, but simply valuing her enough to show up fully. And when she feels that, she will not just remember what you said. She will remember how you made her feel in your presence. Confidence without arrogance is one of the most magnetic qualities you can possess because it is a balance that commands respect without creating distance. Confidence is rooted in self-assurance, in knowing your value, your capabilities, and your worth, while arrogance stems from a need to constantly prove yourself or to elevate yourself by diminishing others. A confident man moves through life with quiet certainty, his energy communicating that he knows who he is and does not need external validation to feel secure. He does not compete to be the loudest in the room because his presence speaks for itself, and people feel drawn to him because his confidence creates an atmosphere of stability and trust rather than intimidation or ego. The difference lies in intention. Confidence is about believing in yourself while still valuing the worth and perspectives of others. It allows you to stand firm in your convictions without dismissing those who disagree with you. Arrogance, on the other hand, thrives on comparison. It seeks to prove superiority and is threatened by the success or opinions of others. When you embody confidence without arrogance, you show that you are comfortable enough in your own skin to appreciate others' strengths without feeling diminished by them. You can celebrate someone else's achievements without making it about yourself. And that humility paired with self-assuredness is incredibly attractive, especially to a woman who values emotional maturity. True confidence is quiet. It is in your body language, the way you hold your posture, the calmness in your tone, the steadiness in your gaze. It is in your ability to speak with conviction without the need to dominate or interrupt. It is in your willingness to admit when you do not know something, because you understand that your worth is not tied to having all the answers. This kind of grounded confidence shows a woman that you are secure enough to be real, that you do not need to hide behind a facade of perfection, and that you have nothing to prove because you already know your value. Another sign of confidence without arrogance is emotional composure. A man who is truly confident is not easily rattled by challenges or criticism. He listens, evaluates, and responds thoughtfully instead of reacting defensively. This makes him a safe space in moments of tension because she knows you will not explode with anger or become overly passive-aggressive. Your emotional steadiness tells her you are capable of handling not only your own emotions but also hers, which is deeply reassuring and attractive. It shows that your confidence is not just surface level but anchored in emotional strength and self-awareness. Confidence without arrogance also shows up in how you treat others, especially those who have nothing to offer you in return. A man who treats the waiter, the janitor, the stranger on the street with the same respect he gives to someone of higher social status displays a kind of quiet dignity that speaks volumes. Women notice this. They notice when a man's kindness is not selective, when his respect is not conditional. This type of consistent character tells her that your confidence is not built on external measures like wealth or status, but on internal values that do not shift depending on who is watching. It also plays out in how you handle success. A confident man does not need to constantly showcase his wins or seek applause for his achievements because he knows that his value is not dependent on external recognition. He celebrates his successes privately or humbly, allowing his work to speak for itself. Arrogance craves the spotlight. Confidence is comfortable in it, but does not chase it. This distinction makes all the difference in how others perceive you and in how deeply a woman can connect with you, because arrogance creates walls while confidence builds bridges. Confidence without arrogance invites openness. When you are secure in yourself, you can allow someone else to shine without feeling threatened. You can let her lead in some moments, share her ideas without cutting her off, and be genuinely curious about her thoughts. This openness shows her that you see her as an equal partner, not as someone you need to control or overshadow. That equality fosters attraction on a deeper level because it allows the relationship to be built on mutual respect rather than power dynamics. And perhaps one of the most compelling aspects of confidence without arrogance is authenticity. You do not try to be someone you are not. You do not put on an exaggerated persona to impress her or anyone else. You show up as yourself, your strengths, your flaws, your quirks, and you stand by them without apology. That level of self-acceptance is magnetic because it frees her to be her authentic self as well. In a world where so many people are hiding behind masks, authenticity paired with true confidence feels refreshing, grounding, and rare. Purpose-driven energy is one of the most magnetic forces a person can embody because it creates a natural pull that inspires curiosity, respect, and admiration. It is the kind of presence that goes beyond mere ambition or busyness. It is about having a clear sense of why you do what you do, a vision that fuels your actions, and a deeper meaning that shapes the way you move through life. A man with purpose-driven energy carries himself differently. He is not aimlessly chasing distractions or scattering his attention in 100 directions. Instead, his life has direction and intention, and that focus creates a sense of stability and strength that is deeply attractive. People can feel it in the way he talks about his work, in the way he tackles challenges, and in the way he doesn't allow temporary setbacks to derail his path. This energy is rooted in clarity. When you have a clear purpose, you are not easily swayed by trends, opinions, or temporary temptations. You know where you are headed, and that certainty shapes the way you make decisions. It allows you to say no to what does not serve you and yes to what aligns with your vision. This sense of direction is something women naturally notice because it signals leadership, decisiveness, and an ability to navigate life with intention. Purpose-driven energy doesn't mean you are rigid or inflexible. It means that even when life throws unexpected challenges your way, you can adapt without losing sight of your deeper goals. That resilience becomes a quiet yet powerful statement of strength. Purpose is also a source of motivation that fuels discipline. It gives you the reason to wake up early, to work hard, to push through fatigue, and to keep going even when no one is watching. This is where many people fall short. They rely on bursts of motivation which fade quickly, while purpose provides a constant fire that doesn't burn out easily. When a man lives with purpose, his effort is consistent, his actions are intentional, and his growth is steady. This is incredibly compelling because it shows that his life is not reactive, but proactive, and that he is shaping his path rather than waiting for opportunities to simply appear. That quiet determination becomes part of his aura, making him someone others want to be around, learn from, and support. Another dimension of purpose-driven energy is the way it inspires confidence, not just in yourself, but in others. People feel safe trusting someone whose life is built on clear values and meaningful goals. In relationships, this creates a strong sense of security because she knows you are not easily distracted by short-term pleasures or peer pressure. Your energy tells her that you are focused on building something bigger than yourself, and that focus naturally translates into reliability and strength. Women in particular find this grounding quality appealing because it signals that you have the capacity to lead, protect, and nurture, not from a place of ego, but from a place of vision. Purpose-driven energy also attracts respect because it shows that you are driven by something beyond material gain or superficial approval. It's not about chasing status symbols to prove your worth. It's about pursuing goals that align with your deeper beliefs and values. This kind of alignment between who you are and what you do creates a rare authenticity. People can feel when your actions are rooted in something real, and it creates a sense of trust that cannot be faked. In a world full of noise, distraction, and pretense, the man with a quiet, unshakable sense of purpose stands out without needing to demand attention. Living with purpose also shapes the way you handle setbacks. A man without direction can be easily crushed by failure because he doesn't have a bigger why to keep him moving forward. But a man with purpose sees failure differently. It becomes a lesson, a stepping stone, and a necessary part of the journey. That kind of mindset is attractive because it reflects emotional maturity and perseverance. It shows that you can weather storms without losing your drive, and that you have the emotional intelligence to keep moving forward with patience and determination. This resilience not only builds your own strength, but also reassures those around you that you are someone they can rely on during difficult times. Purpose-driven energy is also contagious. When you are genuinely passionate about your goals, the people around you feel inspired to think bigger, aim higher, and pursue their own dreams with more commitment. In a relationship, this energy doesn't just benefit you, it lifts her up as well. She feels motivated by your example, encouraged by your discipline, and challenged to grow alongside you. This creates a dynamic that is both empowering and deeply bonding because you are not just existing together. You are building, evolving, and pushing each other toward higher levels of fulfillment. And perhaps the most magnetic aspect of purpose-driven energy is that it communicates self-respect. It shows that you value your time, your potential, and your life too much to waste it on meaningless pursuits. That sense of self-respect creates natural boundaries, filters out distractions, and ensures that the energy you invest each day moves you closer to the life you want to live. This quiet, focused strength makes people take you seriously without you having to prove yourself, and it draws the right kind of people into your life, those who appreciate your vision, respect your discipline, and want to be part of the journey you are building. Attentive communication is more than just hearing the words someone says. It is the act of fully engaging with their presence, their tone, their emotions, and the unspoken messages that flow beneath the surface of their speech. It is an art that requires presence, patience, and a willingness to place your full focus on the other person in a way that makes them feel truly seen and heard. In a world where distractions are constant and genuine attention is rare, the ability to listen with intention and respond with care becomes an incredibly powerful way to connect on a deeper level. It signals that the person in front of you matters enough for you to set aside your phone, your wandering thoughts, and your need to interrupt, and instead give them the gift of your undivided attention. This kind of focused presence doesn't just enhance the quality of your conversations, it strengthens trust, nurtures intimacy, and creates an emotional bond that words alone cannot achieve. True attentive communication involves listening beyond the surface. It is about noticing the pauses between sentences, the slight changes in tone, the choice of certain words over others, and the emotions that linger behind them. Often, people reveal more in their expressions, their body language, and their silences than they do in their spoken words. When you train yourself to be fully present in a conversation, you begin to catch these subtle signals that most people miss. This is what makes someone feel deeply understood, when you respond not just to what they say, but to what they mean, even if they don't articulate it perfectly. It is in these moments that a person feels safe enough to open up further, to share what's truly on their mind, and to trust that you are not just waiting for your turn to speak, but are genuinely invested in understanding them. Attentive communication also means letting go of the need to dominate the conversation or constantly insert your own opinions. There is a time to share your perspective, but there is also a time to simply hold space for the other person. Holding space means allowing them to express themselves without fear of judgment, without feeling rushed, and without the pressure of being right. It is creating a mental and emotional environment where they can explore their thoughts openly. This requires patience, empathy, and humility. When you make someone feel heard in this way, you give them a sense of relief because they realize they don't have to fight for your attention or compete with your ego. Instead, they are free to simply be themselves, and that is one of the most attractive and comforting experiences you can offer. Another important aspect of attentive communication is the way you respond. Your responses should show that you are truly paying attention, not just to the words, but to the meaning behind them. Reflecting back what you've understood, asking thoughtful questions, and showing empathy through your tone all communicate that you are invested in the exchange. This is not about rehearsed active listening techniques that feel robotic, but about genuine curiosity and care. When someone sees that you are not just nodding out of politeness, but actually engaging with their thoughts, they begin to feel a sense of connection that is both emotional and intellectual. They realize that you are not treating the conversation as a transaction, but as an opportunity to truly connect. Attentive communication also demands that you manage your own internal distractions. Many people believe they are listening, but in reality, they are mentally preparing their next response, recalling a similar experience they want to share, or thinking about something unrelated entirely. This kind of partial attention is easy to detect, and it quickly erodes trust. To truly communicate attentively, you have to slow down your mind and focus entirely on the person in front of you. It is choosing to be fully in the moment rather than drifting into your own world. Over time, this discipline not only improves the quality of your relationships, but also sharpens your ability to read people and situations more accurately, because you are actually processing the details in real time instead of filtering them through distraction. One of the most overlooked elements of attentive communication is the use of silence. Silence, when used intentionally, can be incredibly powerful. It allows the other person to gather their thoughts, to go deeper into what they are saying, and to feel that you are not rushing them toward a conclusion. Many people feel uncomfortable with pauses and try to fill them with words, but learning to be comfortable in silence is part of showing that you value what is being shared. Sometimes the most profound insights or admissions come in those moments after a pause, when someone feels they have the space to go beyond their initial words. Attentive communicators understand that listening is not about filling every second with noise. It is about creating room for depth to emerge. Attentive communication is not just a skill. It is an intentional choice to value connection over convenience. It is about showing that you are present not only physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. It turns ordinary conversations into meaningful exchanges, and it transforms surface level interactions into bonds of understanding and trust. It allows the other person to feel respected, valued, and prioritized, which naturally deepens the emotional connection between you. Over time, this kind of presence becomes one of the most attractive qualities you can have, because it sets you apart in a world where people are often too distracted, too impatient, or too self-focused to truly listen. Consistency in actions is one of the most underrated yet deeply powerful qualities that can draw someone toward you in a way that words alone never could. While charm, charisma, and grand gestures may create temporary excitement, it is the quiet reliability of your actions over time that builds a deep sense of trust and emotional safety. Consistency means showing up in alignment with what you say, not just once, but repeatedly in both big moments and small. It is about following through on promises, keeping your word even when it's inconvenient, and maintaining the same level of respect, attention, and care regardless of circumstances. This predictability is not about being boring. It is about creating stability in a world where people are often left guessing about others' intentions. When your actions remain steady and true over time, it sends the message that you are dependable, and that message is far more attractive than fleeting charm could ever be. The real beauty of consistency lies in how it removes uncertainty. Uncertainty creates emotional anxiety, making people second guess where they stand with you. But when you are consistent, you eliminate that guessing game. Your presence, your behavior, and your way of treating others do not fluctuate based on your mood, your convenience, or external factors. Instead, you show that you are guided by principles rather than impulses. This is especially powerful in relationships because it allows the other person to feel emotionally secure. They know you won't suddenly pull away, change your tone, or contradict yourself without reason. Emotional security is one of the most compelling elements of attraction because it allows someone to relax in your presence, to let their guard down, and to invest more deeply without fear of sudden disappointment. Consistency also acts as proof of your character. Many people can make promises or speak beautifully about their values, but only those who are truly committed can back those words with aligned, repeated actions. It's easy to be attentive in the honeymoon phase or when everything is going well, but true character is shown in how you act during challenges, during periods of stress, and in moments when no one is watching. Do you still show respect when you're frustrated? Do you still honor your commitments when it's inconvenient? Do you still keep the same energy in the relationship when life gets busy? These are the questions that reveal whether your consistency is genuine or conditional. The answer to them determines whether someone feels they can truly rely on you, and reliability is one of the deepest emotional hooks in human connection. One of the subtler aspects of consistency is how it builds credibility over time. Trust is not something you can demand. It is something you earn. And the only way to truly earn it is by being the same dependable person again and again, until it becomes clear that your behavior is not situational, but a reflection of who you are. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. No one is. But it does mean that your values, your level of respect, and your overall presence remain intact through both highs and lows. Over time, this makes your words carry more weight. When you speak, People believe you because your actions have shown that your word is not empty. In relationships, this creates a powerful dynamic where your reassurances actually soothe worry, your commitments inspire confidence, and your presence feels like a foundation rather than a gamble. Consistency in actions also strengthens emotional intimacy because it shows that you are invested for the long term. Inconsistent behavior, on the other hand, erodes intimacy because it forces the other person to constantly reassess where they stand. When someone feels they can count on you to show up in the same way each time, whether that means keeping your promises, maintaining your level of care, or staying emotionally available, they begin to trust that the connection is not fragile. This trust allows them to be more vulnerable, to share more of themselves, and to deepen the emotional exchange. Without consistency, even the most passionate relationships eventually crack under the weight of uncertainty. But with it, even small gestures begin to carry enormous emotional value. Another key element of consistency is alignment between your public and private behavior. Many people act one way when others are watching and another way behind closed doors. But when your actions are the same, no matter the setting, you communicate authenticity. Authenticity is magnetic because it's rare. People are often skeptical of others' intentions, but when they see that you behave the same in every situation, their trust in you grows stronger. Consistency here means that the version of you they know is the real one, not a performance. And that realization is one of the most grounding experiences in any connection. It's also worth noting that consistency requires discipline. It's not just about keeping habits. It's about maintaining standards. There will be days when you don't feel like putting in the effort, when distractions tempt you, or when stress makes it easier to justify cutting corners. But consistency is forged in those moments when you choose to uphold your standards anyway. This is what separates people who only seem dependable from those who truly are. The ability to remain steady regardless of shifting moods or external chaos is a strength that makes others feel they can place their trust in you without hesitation. When you live with consistency in your actions, you create a ripple effect that impacts not just your relationships, but how people perceive you in every area of life. You become known as someone whose presence is grounding, whose word is reliable, and whose energy is not fleeting but steadfast. This reliability doesn't just make you more attractive, it makes you someone people want to invest in emotionally because they know that the person they see today will still be the person they can count on tomorrow. Mystery that intrigues is not about playing games or deliberately creating confusion. It is about maintaining a depth to yourself that keeps others wanting to know more. In a world where oversharing has become the norm and people rush to reveal every detail of their lives for validation, true mystery has become rare and therefore magnetic. It is the quality of holding certain parts of yourself back, not out of secrecy in a negative sense, but because you value your inner world enough not to place it entirely on display for anyone at any time. Mystery gives people something to explore, and exploration is at the heart of intrigue. When you do not immediately lay out your every thought, feeling, and plan, you allow curiosity to build. Curiosity is what makes someone lean in, pay closer attention, and invest more deeply in trying to understand you. The essence of an intriguing mystery lies in layers. People are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully grasp at first glance, because it awakens a primal desire to discover. If every story about you is told up front, if every opinion you have is expressed immediately, then there is nothing left for someone to uncover over time. But when you carry yourself with a certain calm restraint, revealing just enough to invite interest while keeping parts of your life and mind private until the right moment, you create a rhythm that makes interactions with you feel richer. Each conversation becomes an unfolding rather than a download, and people begin to realize that the more they get to know you, the more there still is to know. This is where mystery becomes intoxicating. It offers the promise that the journey of discovering you will never be over. Mystery is not about being distant or cold. In fact, it can exist alongside warmth and openness. The key is to allow people to experience your presence and your energy without having access to every thought and intention behind it. You might share a personal story, but leave out unnecessary details that make it too predictable. You might express your feelings, but in a way that hints there's more beneath the surface than what you are currently revealing. This way, you remain approachable, but still carry that spark of intrigue that keeps someone's attention engaged. When people feel that there is more to you than meets the eye, they naturally begin to wonder about your past, your inner thoughts, your dreams, and your private world, and that wondering fuels attraction. Part of cultivating mystery is knowing the value of silence. In conversations, many people feel the urge to fill every gap with words, but sometimes it is the pauses that are most powerful. A well-timed silence can make your words land with greater impact and leave the other person reflecting on them long after. It also gives space for curiosity to grow. When you don't rush to explain every action or thought, you create room for interpretation, and interpretation is where intrigue thrives. This doesn't mean being evasive. It means being intentional about what you share, understanding that sometimes less is more. The way you live your life also contributes to mystery. People who are constantly evolving, pursuing new experiences, and deepening their skills naturally become more intriguing because there is always another chapter to their story. If your life is filled with growth, learning, and meaningful pursuits, you become someone who is hard to fully define. Every time someone thinks they've figured you out, they discover a new layer, a new interest, a new perspective, a new challenge you've embraced. This dynamic keeps relationships from feeling stagnant and ensures that being around you never becomes monotonous. People are drawn to individuals who seem to have a richness to their inner world, and mystery is the veil that allows that richness to be revealed gradually, like the unfolding of a novel you can't put down. Body language plays an equally important role in creating mystery. The way you carry yourself, the subtle confidence in your posture, the calmness in your movements, all of these can communicate more than words ever could. A slow, thoughtful gaze or a half smile at just the right moment can speak volumes without giving anything away. When you are fully present but not overly expressive, you invite people to read between the lines, to wonder about the emotions and thoughts you might be holding back. That wondering draws them in, and in trying to decipher you, they become more invested in knowing you. Mystery that intrigues also comes from having a life that is fulfilling with or without external validation. When your happiness and identity do not depend entirely on the attention or approval of others, you naturally become more magnetic because you are not trying to impress or oversell yourself. You are simply living in alignment with your own passions, values, and goals, and that self-contained fulfillment makes people curious about what drives you. They begin to notice that you do not seek constant reassurance, that you can disappear into your own world and return with fresh energy, and that there is always something they haven't quite figured out about you. This independence is deeply attractive because it suggests that while they may be part of your life, they can never fully possess or define you. In the end, mystery is about pacing the reveal of who you are, allowing depth to emerge over time rather than overwhelming